Ooh, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Land of Fantasy series. And welcome back to the windmill that we built up last episode. It is still standing, still serving as my main place to store all my random collections and belongings, and it's still feeling kind of empty on the lower level. But we'll sort that out very shortly. First of all, I just wanted to take a look around at everything we built up last episode. We've got this beautiful area over here that I still love it over here. I like just hanging out around in the bamboo, visiting the shrine. It really does feel quite tranquil, shall we say. I am really proud of this little area here. It can still do with a few little tweaks, and I have ideas of how I'm going to tweak it a bit coming up in this episode, but I'm really proud of how this came out. And of course I got to do a quick visit down to the Shrine of the Ox, pray for good luck obviously and hard work, who I guess the Ox represents. Go through these lovely gates built up, and there he is. And look, a nice little view of the windmill through that little gap there. That's what I like best. You can kind of see the farmland as you approach through the bamboo, and it makes it feel like this little hidden place that you can just kind of go to, and you know, it's secluded and calm here. And that's the exact sort of vibes I want to be going for with this build. Exactly the kind of idea I want for it. But enough about what we've done so far. Let's get on to how we're going to achieve that. And this area here is something that I'm really looking forward to building. I've got a big idea of what I want to put here, and I don't think it's ready for this episode, but look out for that soon. This area back here, I don't know if I should just detail this up with general vegetation, or I might just use it as a general farm spot. The other windmill I need to put in. I might copy this windmill idea. Part of me is saying to copy the shape maybe and go for a different color palette. I might try that, see if it looks different. Again, might not get around to doing that this episode, because this episode I've got plans, and it involves the village, or let's say the absence of the village, more like. But for that to work out, I probably need to be nice to the residents, shall we say. It's probably going to be a bit cruel to just remove the entire village without giving them somewhere else to live first. So I think the only thing I can do is let them stay in the bottom level of the windmill. That's what I'm thinking. And then I can get rid of their village and finally treat them to something new when I get around to building that up. But that will definitely be harder to do if they're wandering around and getting in my way. So let's just, I don't want to say capture, more like round up the villagers for now. Come on, this way, follow the workstation. Oh, there it goes. It's over here now, over here. Follow the workstation. This is surprisingly easy. Everyone always goes on about how hard it is to get villagers to go where they want. And look, follow, oh okay, I see what they mean now. Workstations over here. Follow the workstation. Okay, right, try again. Follow the workstation. Oh, there he is. I see him through the fields. Here he is. Come on. Oh no, he's stuck. God, villagers are a pain. Need some help there, buddy. Yeah, I know. I had struggled figuring out how water worked in this game too for a long time, but it's not like this. There you go, look. Have a bit of a helping hand there. Now go see if you can find your workstation. There it is. That's not bad. Oh, what? Oh, where's it going? Oh, where is it? Here it is. Here it... here. Yes, this way. This way. Good. Bad. It's back over here. Workstation's over here. It's right here. Oh, walk away. Yeah, real mature. Finally managed to pin him down. God, that took some time. And now I need to get the rest of them sorted. That's two down. Here's 3. And here's 4. And that's just the rest of them. Actually, I just did the rest of them. That's everyone from the village that I could find, including this random zombie villager that seems to have replaced my silk touch trader, which, you know, that's just another problem to worry about, but oh well. But with the village safely vacated, it is now totally safe for me to go about with my bulldozer or my diamond pickaxe, as they say, and really just destroy everything, basically. That's what I'm planning on doing. I'm just going to get rid of it, flatten the land, empty my colouring palette, clear my workspace, and just sort out a nice flat area for me to build something else in. And after I do that, I've got a pretty good plan of something I want to build up along here, along the pathway and travelling back towards the village area, which you probably already know because you've seen the thumbnail of the video, but it's something I haven't done yet, so I don't know if it went well or not. You can probably already tell me. But first, like I said, I'm gonna have to just really get rid of this. Everything here that I just gestured to. So, let's just jump right into that. I think I might look into getting a second time-lapse song. Don't get me wrong, I love the current one, but maybe something faster for shorter time-lapses. And talking of things that people need to get new ones of, these pillagers really got to find themselves a new village, because they will find that the current one they're trying to raid is a bit missing, reduced merely to blocks in chests. Although, having said that, I would still prefer not to have to kill this guy, lest we start a raid around the windmill instead, and that's just no fun for anyone, because something tells me that Ravagers aren't the biggest friend with crops. But, luckily, dig myself a little hole, use a bit of trickery, power, and a tactical punch. Let's see if we can get a tactical punch down first before I say it. Something like, come on, this way. Over here, here we go, and boop. One tactical punch, one block, and there you go, problem solved. And personally, if I was following this guy and watched him suffer such a humiliation as that, I would probably just run off at that point, so I'm not going to worry about those guys over there. Yeah, sorry about that one, buddy. Today's just not your day. So instead, let me focus on this brand new empty grassy field, or almost empty grassy field. Let me just grab a few. There we go. Sorry, these really annoy me. I don't know why. Empty grassy field that I'm going to rebuild the village in over the next couple of episodes. That way, the villagers that are kind of trapped in my windmill actually have somewhere to stay. Because, everyone agrees that free-range villagers produce better tools with your emeralds. It's just scientific fact that. And so it would be nice if I could build them up somewhere eventually for them to move back into. It just so happens that it's going to be in the exact same area where they used to live was, but, I got to decorate it. It's got to be my own. And if anyone's interested in what a village looks like, this is the entire contents that I found in 2 double chests. It's actually a lot more than I thought it would be, to be fair, and those materials are going to come in pretty useful, especially a lot of this cobblestone, when we move on to the next project we're going to be doing, which starts up here, by the path that we built up last episode. And with this brand new collection of blocks that I found after getting a bit lucky and finding a lush cave system and getting the mossy cobblestone from the village, we're going to see if we can fix up this pathway, because I had a bit of a second thought about it and it's a bit too perfect for my liking. So I'm going to see if I can mess it up a bit. I'm taking out most of the blocks in the pathway and just leaving in a small collection of the grey blocks that we have here. And then I'm just going to fill it back in with a random selection of all sorts of other stuff that I've got in my inventory to hopefully give it this really cool overgrown effect as you walk along it. So it kind of feels like the landscape is merging in with the path as well. At least that's the plan I'm going for. And if you're unfamiliar with the best technique of just filling in random space with random blocks, I like to just choose my little colour palette, fill up the entire hotbar. I think this is a well-known technique by now, but if for anyone that doesn't, there you go. These are all the blocks I'm going for, and then you just randomly scroll along the place and just click, 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 click. Fill it all in, And then eventually you end up with this just completely random mix of blocks, which hopefully looks good in the big scale. Sometimes looks a bit weird on the small scale. But we'll see how that turns out. Final results are in, and I really like the effect that this has on the pathway, actually. I really think it's done exactly what I said. It kind of just looks like it's much more overgrown now and much less perfect, which is what was kind of annoying me a bit. I really like the mix. I love the rooted dirt, actually, is a specific highlight for me. As a definite new, a bit of a weird block to love from the new 1.18 update, but, you know, it now holds a special place in my heart after building this pathway up. It just works really well as a slight variation to course dirt, which I already loved as a block. But I can imagine I'm probably starting to sound a bit strange talking about my love for Minecraft dirt so much now. So let's continue down here to the other bit of pathway that we built up. And eventually, the plan is obviously to connect these two pathways that we've got so far. And I might end up doing some detail bits around the outside of this pathway here, maybe putting some of the dirt and some pods around the outskirts of it, but I'm undecided on that. As this area down here is meant to be more of the built up area, and so there's probably less chance that there's actually going to be overgrown stuff going on there. So you kind of get like a little progression as you go down towards the city, or village I suppose. And while I start to tackle the other half of this pathway, I'm going to try and build up a river, as you've probably already seen and heard, along the side of this pathway, which flows and kind of follows you down into the town. And then maybe I can do some cool stuff messing around with like cool bridges in the town as you kind of cross over the river a bit, and eventually it flows down to the big river behind us over there. But really, I'm just going to dive in and wing it. Okay, quite a lot of time later, we have a pretty good river setup actually. I'm really happy with how this turned out. We haven't got very far to start with, but just as a proof of concept to show that this works, this is what I've got so far. So we can head down here, past this little waterfall that's going to lead to where the river's source is going to be. Heads down there further on. You've got these lovely little reeds in the river with these bits of lily pad to hop around on, as well as these giant bamboos and sugar canes that we've got growing everywhere else, just to continue with the same old theme. A few rocks, continue with the flowers. This bit up over here as well on the side. Just continuing on with what we had before, and these lovely little views actually of the windmill. I love looking at the windmill through the sugarcane. If you haven't already realised, I probably do that shot a lot while I'm just kind of wandering around the place. Anyway, we got this bit over here that I'm probably going to detail up with a bit of a cliff face that I'm going to work on later on. And more importantly, this cool bridge that I'm a bit iffy on. It feels a bit chunky at the moment, if that makes sense. I might see if I can kind of thin it down a bit or unchunky it, if those are words. But it's got all the right colours. Obviously, it's using the same colours as the gates that we had going down to the shrine. Very kind of regal look. And the idea is obviously to then continue the river on down here through these kind of steps. And it's going to get a bit complicated. Going a river downhill, it's always a bit of a tricky thing to do properly. Hence why I'm doing a bit of a break now from it, just to try and avoid it. But can't avoid it for that long. So we're going to see if we can get it flowing all the way down here. And then hopefully we'll get another bridge at the bottom of it that will all then connect the pathway together, is the plan at least. Let's see just how well I can actually do that. The pathway would then obviously run down here along the side of the river, if that wasn't obvious, connecting up to the other bridge. Sorry, for some reason I felt like that was really badly explained. Anyway, back to work. And back to work for the pillagers too, who have not given up on trying to locate this village that they're still trying to raid. It's still gone, still not there. You're still a bit late on that. What is here, however, is this beautiful new river. If you want to take a look at it, it's been quite a lot of work for me over the last few days. Oh yeah, you don't seem to be that interested in the river, do you? Well, I can use this to show you guys another advanced technique on how to deal with pillagers without actually ever getting the bad omen effect. Now, you may consider this one to be a bit more brutal, but if you're very tactical with your positioning and your chicken eating, you can just kind of let the other pillagers deal with the banner one, shall we say, in their own little way. You know, you just kind of wander around the place and make sure you're getting all your angles correct. And if you just hop down here, for example, they're just doing the work for you. And obviously, the pillagers themselves can't get the bad omen effect. And then there is no raid started. And once again, we have saved the crops. There you go. The crops have been saved from the wrath of the Ravagers, and we can just clean up these guys. pillagers dealt with, and we are absolutely, hang on, let me just, there you go, absolutely bad omen free. Excellent work. And with that distraction out the way, let me actually go and show the lovely river that they just didn't seem to appreciate. So we've got it flowing down the hill exactly at the point I wanted it to. This other bridge built up so we can actually cross over and use this other bit of pathway that's just kind of been on its own for so long now. And the same with the reeds and the lily pads and all the cool little detail bits, the kelp, all the seagrass, that just makes it look so cool and alive and like an actual ecosystem in there. And then we've got these lovely little walls that I'm building up at the same time. Obviously, it makes a mess with the sugarcane. I'm kind of mid detailing when the pillagers attacked, but I was close enough to kind of finishing everything else up to give you a little update on how I'm doing, and I think it's gone pretty well. I was just trying to sort out the sugarcane issue. I'm kind of running out of sugarcane at the moment, so I didn't get time to detail this area properly before showing it off, but I will grow up some more sugarcane and sort that area out. And I'm also going to build this pathway down. And I've got it continuing on. Oh, these lanterns actually. So I wanted to say, because I've been having some issues with light levels along this pathway. I have been attacked several times and it doesn't feel good. Especially considering I don't actually have any armor at the moment. I've been trying to find cool ways of actually, lighting the pathway up rather than just fighting all the time. And I also managed to do this cliff face here. I wasn't originally going to do the cliff face, but then I realised that I'm probably going to use it for the thumbnail shot, kind of aiming down there. So, I kind of had to I couldn't just do the thumbnail with the dirt cliffs. So I actually really like the effect I've got here with the wall, adding a level of depth. I kind of went crazy. I was kind of sat there thinking I'm mad, but I actually really like how this turned out. Got the waterfalls going in as well. I'll sort out why there's waterfalls there later. Probably something to do with the river that's going to probably curve back round and flow above it. So it'd be cool to add like these little streams that jut off and turn into the waterfalls. And then I finally moved out off of this hill here as well, which I've also been wanting to detail up. But then, yeah, lack of sugarcane kind of means that it's just not quite perfected yet. Do you know how much sugarcane this whole build uses? It's like 5 stacks or 5 or 6 stacks that I had set up. And that ran out a bit ago. I mean, it kind of ran out while I was doing this section over here. So, I mean, that's got to be 6, 7 stacks of sugarcane that I'm using up here. And now I'm going to need like another 2 stacks to do the final detail. It's a lot of sugarcane, and I regret destroying my sugarcane farm I had at the start of the game quite so swiftly, to be honest. I thought 5 and 6 stacks was going to cut it for the time being. But like with most Minecraft builds, I always just seem to underestimate quite how much material I'm gonna need. It's actually lucky that this wandering trader turned up at one point, because I was dead out of lily pads and he was just absolutely here to save the day, so you can thank him for his absolutely impeccable timing. The other thing I did end up doing, which is a bit off topic, is I actually changed the panes on the windmill ever so slightly. I mean, utterly unnoticeable really, just to make a bit longer and a bit smoother on the end there. And I'm thinking I'm quite happy with how that looks now. So I will go out and grab the material I need to build up the second one of these. And I'll probably see if I can tackle that at the start of next episode. But for now, I'm going to go and get on my horse, which I have lovingly named Torrent, after the other 50,000 horses that are going to get named Torrent this year. So that way, even though it's a single player world, he can have a lot of friends. And just ride along this pathway and kind of get the fantasy idea for it. I love horseback riding. I really dislike the Elytra in a way for how it's like, kind of made the horses redundant in a way. And I love just kind of riding through here. He's a bit fast, doesn't quite get the charm of going slowly, but I really like how this all comes together now. This is really starting to look good and all coming together. And with that, I'm going to ride up into the sunset, and I will see all of you next week for the next episode of The Land of Fantasy. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you then. Goodbye.